Hello. Bored? Empty? Stuck? What is this signalling? Perhaps we are in a rut, tired of things, feeling empty. Not in crisis perhaps, but in a quiet sort of inertia. We wake up and the morning holds no promise. The days pass in a gentle blur of repetition. A job, a mortgage, perhaps a family, and yet something stirs. A faint echo? A whisper from the soul? Or what is this? Actor Jeremy Renner once put it bluntly, you're in a complacent lifestyle where you work 9 to 5 and then you add a mortgage and kids. You feel trapped. But guess what, brother? You constructed that life. Well, if you're okay with it, there's nothing wrong with that. But what if you're not okay with it? Clearly, we get bored partly because there is nothing that energizes us to do something meaningful, without something to give our days a sense of direction. Then life can feel oddly weightless and empty. We may be busy, but not alive. We may begin to question not only what we're doing, but why we're doing it. And then the mind can turn inward, spiraling into negativity. What's the point of this job, we ask? Why should I keep trying in this relationship? Is anything I do really worthwhile? A deeper malaise creeps in when we feel we're not doing anything that truly matters. Not to others, not to ourselves. If we stay like this, we can become like a house submerged in mire, where the higher faculties are unused and at risk of being lost altogether. Do we get like this because of the pressures of an inquisitive society? Demands that result in us spending more time in commuting to our jobs and working long hours? Boredom could set in if we have little time left for quality home life, little time for leisure, little time for hobbies. In line with the way of thinking of 18th century mystic Emanuel Swedenborg, being bored and feeling in a rut is part of the ebb and flow of inner mental life, a natural tendency even. He called it spiritual sleepiness, a dulling of the inner senses. Now, during his lifetime, he daily entered into a state of altered awareness. And in this changed mystical state, incredibly, he reported seeing the spirit of individual people around him, not seen with his physical eyes, though. He claimed that their presence affected his moods, some positive and others negative. Some brought a sense of delight, but others had a dampening effect. He reckoned that we all unconsciously have similar experience. According to what he learned, the people present with us are also themselves generally unaware that they are with us. Instead, they believe our thoughts and our feelings are their own, just as we believe theirs to be ours. Their unconscious presence with us would explain why shifts in mood can seem sudden and untraceable to purely worldly causes. So Swedenborg believed that our moods are shaped not only by our circumstances, but by the unseen company we keep. If he was right, such influences are likely to remain unless we choose to point our minds in another direction. For if we do this, we will attract different people unconsciously present with us, different feelings and thoughts. Now, Swedenborg didn't see negative moods as a cause for despair. Rather, he saw them as a signal, a quiet bell tolling from within, urging us towards change. For him, the soul is not static. It grows through useful activity, through love expressed in service. Angelic people after death, he claimed, don't find joy in rest, but in meaningful effort, in helping, in giving. And so perhaps this state we call boredom is not a failure, but a threshold. It might be the moment we begin to look again at what we love, to see our relationships not just as burdens, but as bonds with the potential to heal and transform. To stop asking only, what can I get from life? And begin asking, what do I give? For some, this renewal may come through being a parent. Not simply raising children, but guiding, nurturing, bearing witness to the next generation. For others of us, it might arise through creative or charitable work. But the essential element is this, being useful. Not in a coldly pragmatic sense, but in the sense that one's actions carry weight, carry meaning. That's what we do, and that's what matters to someone else. Of course, not everyone frames their experience in these ethical and spiritual terms. Well, science, nature, humanism, these too offer frameworks of meaning, but religion does one thing quite well. It gives us language for transcendence. It says, there is more than just the daily grind, more than self-interest, more than even death, and sometimes we need that larger picture. We might begin again by recalling the quiet values that once meant something to us: patience, kindness, loyalty. We dust them off like old family heirlooms. We bring them into the daylight. So, if you're in a rut, it needn't be your permanent home. You're not broken, just simply paused. What looks like stagnation, maybe gestation. The question is, are you ready to move, to reawaken, not with a jolt, but with the gradual rising of light? Perhaps the path out of the ruts is not dramatic. Perhaps it begins just with something small, a thoughtful conversation, a helping hand, an hour spent doing something simply because it is good. And so the old heaviness will lift, not all at once, but enough to begin again. The best of luck with that. Now, in this video, I've tried to answer the question: bored, empty, stuck? What is this signaling to you? If you like what I'm saying about emotional help, why not click the link to spiritual healing in a distressing world? It deals with distress and worry and how we can use spirituality to reduce these problems. Thank you for listening to me.